Today, we are going to be talking about Vogue. And no, we're not talking about Vogue, the magazine company. We're going to be talking about Vogue, Voge, this company right here. Now, Vogue is a motorcycle company that comes from this place in China that is owned by Lonkin Holdings. Lonson. I'm going to butcher every word in this video. Now, this is a brand that I have been keeping an eye on as I do own my own CFMOTO motorcycle, which CFMOTO comes from China, if you haven't known that already, and you live under a rock. We're just going to call it Vogue for now. We're looking into this company, and I want to talk more about Vogue in this video. So without further interruption, let's get into it, guys. So this motorcycle company started in 2018 at the 16th China International Motorcycle Expo. That's when Longchin decided to launch Vogue, and this would be known as their high-end motorcycle brand. And this is where they launched the double-cylinder street motorcycle 500R. And throughout the years, as they've gone on, have launched many motorcycles. Vogue has a bunch of different motorcycles. They have sport variety, naked variety, the dual sport variety. They have scooters, and they even have a cruiser. Now, what I find really cool about this brand is, although they are recent, I don't really know much about the brand. I don't know how well they're doing over in China, but I do know that I've seen a lot of their videos pop up in my feed and a lot of different bike releases, and they've definitely grown their lineup, which kind of tells me that they have to be doing pretty good. Some of the areas that they've expanded into, if I click on their site, I'm going to show you on the screen right now, but we have like South Korea, we have Turkey, Sweden, Peru, Ecuador, Dominican Republic. They have a lot of different ones like Russia, France. They're pretty much in a lot of different areas, and one area they're not in is the United States. So yes, it is America's, but it's not in the United States yet. I'm actually looking forward to when they do release their first bike here in the States. I'd be interested in giving it a test ride or at least trying some of their bikes because they do look pretty good. I will say their quality, to me at least, is like a little bit more than CFMOTO build quality or like just material or paint jobs. Everything just like a little bit higher, but I can't really speak for this brand. I've only seen videos of it, and we all know videos can kind of be twisted. Even though that they started very recently, it seems like they're doing pretty well, and I think it'd be interesting to have them hop over to the United States and provide some form of competition to CFMOTO, because right now CFMOTO is the Chinese motorcycle company in the United States right now, and it'd be interesting to have another one kind of hop aboard and either one, face all the backlash that CFMOTO is currently going through in terms of, hey, this is Chinese and we're not going to trust it, or are they going to do really well and will they establish themselves like CFMOTO has? Will they keep growing their bikes and grow with the demand within the United States, which I think would be pretty cool. So anyone that is overseas or any part of these countries here, or they have one, or they've seen them, or they've test rode one, what do you guys think of this motorcycle? Is it something that's worth riding? Is it something that is worth bringing over to the States? I just want to cover this video to kind of educate people that there is other stuff out there, and I think this company is looking pretty good, and the quality of their site, the quality of their bikes, the products, everything, they all looks pretty decent here. So all I can do really is hop onto their site and kind of give a nice glance or a quick look through of what they have to offer. So they obviously have their brand introduction here. I'm going to show this all on screen. The brand introduction here, talking about their brand slogan, all that, their brand personality, which would be purity, passion, and progress. Brand value again, which looks pretty decent from what I've seen. Like the quality looks decent. I can't go off pictures of video, but from what I can tell, it looks pretty good. So we have the brand history. You can kind of go through that if you guys want to. I just wanted to touch on more where they started, but they have a bunch of the different brand history things, everything there that you can kind of dive into, because this is more of a sport bike kind of channel where I talk more about sport bikes, not so much about, cruisers or naked bikes or whatever, just more so sport. They do have 4 different lineups of the sport bikes. They have the 250RR, the 300RR, the RR525, and the RR660S, which I'm assuming would be more comparable to the 675 or even like a Daytona 675. Looking at some of the features on this bike, just going off of this bike alone, it's a 4-cylinder engine. It has a 662.8 cc displacement. Comes with dual power modes, which is really cool. Dual power modes, which is like a dual power mode switching between normal and sport to match different riding needs, which is really cool. This is something that CFMOTO doesn't have in the States. Even if you have the RideSync app, there's no power mode that you can utilize. And it's got really good suspension. It's got electronic quick shifter, which is pretty good too. On a lot of cars, you see a lot of active exhaust, but right here, Vogue is calling it variable exhaust. So it's a switch between 2 distinct exhaust notes as you desire, which would be pretty cool. If you could quiet your bike, that'd be pretty cool. So like, let's say you're riding in after you're squidding around with your buddies at 3 in the morning and you're pulling into your driveway around 4 and you don't want to wake your neighbors because your bike is really freaking loud. and I'm speaking from experience, you want to switch it to like a silent mode, that'd be pretty cool. But then when you want to, give some music notes to your friends out of your exhaust, then, turn it up to like a sport mode or something, that'd be pretty cool. And it looks like there is 3 adjustable seat heights, which is interesting that you have a thing that adjusts your seat height, which is wild on a motorcycle like this without just, I mean, I don't know if you just change the seat or something, but it's cool that you can just kind of switch the seat around like that. You come with Brembo disc brake and then a single Nissan disc brake. Don't know much about Nissan, but I do know Brembo. Brembo is a pretty good brand. So if we look over some kind of configurations here, this is all overseas. We have the max speed of 235 kilometers per hour. So 235 kilometers per hour equates to about 146 miles per hour over here in the States. If we were wondering here, the bike does come with ABS. It's got some nice LED front lights. It's got a TFT screen as well. It's got 99 horsepower at 11,500 RPM, which is pretty crazy considering that CFMOTO is pretty close to that as well. So again, this bike is very comparable to that. And I'm wondering how they both compare. I wish I could ride this bike and compare it to CFMOTO. They even have like the RR525, which is comparable, I guess would be like a Ninja 500 or something like that, or like a 450, I guess that's more closer to that. And then they have the 300RR, which is just the 300. That'd be comparable to like CFMOTO 300 SS or the SR, or even like a Ninja 3 or any of that. And then the 250RR, which is interesting that they went from 300 to 250. But yeah, they have a lot of different options. And just because we're here, they have a cruiser bike, which are called the CUs. So the CU 250, and then we have the CU 525 and the CU 625, which are really interesting. These bikes look pretty decent. It does look a little bit higher quality than CFMOTO, even this bike too, compared to the CLC. But this bike by no means looks like it's overpriced. So speaking of price, so just based on a quick search here, this bike comes in around 5,300 euro. In Spain, where they use the euro, which translates to roughly about $6,141,000, which would be United States dollar, which is interesting that this bike is kind of like held to a standard of, hey, this is high quality and it's like a luxury brand, but that price is very, very low for what the power is and the torque and everything on this bike. $6,000 is pretty dang low. Considering 7,999 is very cheap for the 675 SS and it's not too far off. That is a big dip. If it is in fact like a luxury bike, and it's obviously there's other things to consider in the economy when you do release a bike from China over to the States. You can't just directly translate over from the euro. There's other things you got to consider. But the fact that it's just that close to being that low of a dollar amount is pretty wild. And it would be very interesting to have a bike that comes in even cheaper than CFMOTO. And there comes a point where things get so cheap, it's like, can I even trust it? But again, you go the other direction and some things cost so much that it's like, can I trust the company? Like they're definitely just charging this bike just because of the brand. Get a bike that's just as good for a lower price. Why would I pay that high price when I can get something better? So just some quick statistics here. Everything is produced, distributed, and marketed in China, and they have an annual production capacity of about 2.5 million motorcycles, 3 million motorcycle engines, and about 150,000 all-terrain vehicles. And what's really cool, and this is reading directly off of the wiki on this, is in 2005, Lonkin, the company, entered into an agreement to make motorcycle engines pretty much for German-based BMW Motorrad, which is really cool. So it's kind of interesting that this company is kind of, I won't say partnered with, but they've definitely made some deals with BMW. And I think the only thing that I found kind of weird on them, besides that insanely low price for having being a luxury brand, is in 2012 they were founded by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, have imported 7,115 vehicles that violated the Clean Air Act by submitting false and incomplete certification. Now, that is directly cited from Wiki, so don't hold me on there. So that's the only real thing I can really find negative against them. And because they are such a small company right now, or not so widely brought over here in the United States, I can't really find too much crazy information on them at all about any of this stuff. They do have quite a bit of good variety that I think could be a great thing to offer the United States. If anyone's been kind of looking at this brand too, and feel free to drop a comment down below and share your thoughts. I kind of want to hear what you guys are thinking, especially anyone who is a fan of CFMOTO, or if you have a CFMOTO and you live in China or anywhere where the Vogue bikes are sold. Like how do these compare? Like how do these actually compare to CFMOTO? Are they actually decent bikes? Because they look decent and their styling is very modern and it's very advanced, and they've been at different EICMA events too. They definitely have a standing somewhere. I'm interested in what you guys think about this motorcycle brand, and is it something that if it came over to the United States, is it something that you would want to buy? Is it something that you'd be like, yeah, I kind of want to try this bike out? Or again, are we just Harley Davidson riders and we're just gonna kind of stick to the whole narration of it's a cheap Chinese bike, I can't trust the Chinese, it's Chinese death trap, blah 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 blah? Or are we gonna logically look at this and think you've never seen this brand before, and it's to be something cool that you'd want to see. Now, I can only trust the internet so much, so when I look at this bike and see what people reviewed it as, or you hop on Reddit with all the Reddit gurus, there's a lot of just, hey, it's good quality, good decent price. It's a decent bike. It's not saying anything that it's horrible. It's not saying it's a crazy luxury bike, but it's just kind of in the middle. It's kind of like very similar to CFMOTO. So I'm very curious to how this actually compares. Now, I'm hoping for a motorcycle company, Vogue, which is obviously owned by Lonkin, which manufactures motorcycles for BMW. I hope that they would have a decent standing of where they're at. If they do come to the United States, I'd be really excited, but I'm just really excited to learn more about them now. So if anyone has any details, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. I'm not sure how sales are going for them. I can't really dive into that. Again, this isn't just some random company that came from nowhere. It's like a Temu company, just out of the blue. Can't trust them. I mean, they've been in EICMA. They showcased, actually in 2025, they showcased their CU625, which is their first ever custom motorcycle. Blends a bobber styling with contemporary technology. And yeah, they have definitely been keeping up with making different motorcycles, and they've been at EICMA. So, I mean, there's a good telltale that this company seems to be growing, and the fact that they're releasing different bikes and expanding in different markets, that there definitely could be a showcase of, hey, we're coming to the United States. I think that'd be really cool to kind of check them out. Yeah, that's all I really got for you guys. I know this isn't like a crazy lengthy detailed video, but this is just a brand I wanted to talk about because I've been looking into them and I think their bikes look really cool, and I haven't heard anything really bad about them, and I kind of want to learn more. Again, if you guys like this video, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just hated the video, whatever, feel free to drop a comment down below and go, hey, I hated this video, or hey, I found this video helpful, or you want to let me know more about Vogue as a company, then feel free to drop that down below. I would appreciate that. If you dislike this video and you're a Harley rider, then that's all right. You can dislike it. You can do whatever you want. That's fine. And if you guys want to see more of my content or even different things, because I do talk about a lot about CFMOTO and a lot about CFMOTO related content, then feel free to check out my channel, hit the subscribe button, and give that a go. And I attempt to upload about once to twice a week. Keep an eye out for those future videos. And to all my current subscribers, I appreciate all of you, and thank you for stopping by on this one. And as always, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.